Hey guys, Mike here. Today we're going to be somewhere different in the yard. I know the past few videos we've been in the back with the citrus orchard, agroforestry system, and today I just want to show you something different. I missed the last intervention back there. I didn't film it. We did have another baby, so that whole time period I was really busy and just doing a lot of other stuff too, working on the house, so I didn't have time to film a video. Kind of been inspired lately seeing a lot of people that I used to follow starting to post videos, so I'm gonna do the same. We haven't been here for like 3 months maybe, haven't had a video, so just want to make this one because we're in the front now doing intervention, and this is an area that formerly was just kind of like an orchard style setup with the grid, tree space 20 feet apart. And since learning more about syntropic agroforestry, I wanted to redesign this front area into more of that kind of style. And so what I've done here is kind of connecting the dots. That's what I call it, but the dots being the trees. So the way I did this one, if you can picture what a grid looks like, an orchard system. So the row along the border, the fence line, is all one row, and that was just basically to have still access. Right behind me is like, I mow it every 2 weeks, so that's access to see everything here. And then on this side it is all diagonal rows. Instead of doing like straight rows across, I chose to go on diagonal. If you've ever been driving by an orchard, you know, like you see the trees line up all like kind of, you know, perpendicular, and then if you go far enough on a diagonal they also line up. So that's kind of what we did here. The trees that were here in the grid, they do line up on the diagonal, and the reason I chose the diagonal is because that's north-south orientation. I don't know, just to get better sun exposure for the trees, I chose to do it that way, which also makes the rows a little bit longer because they're on a diagonal. If they were just straight across from here, they would only be 2 trees long. So doing the diagonal gets 3 trees and gives me a north-south orientation, which I like. So the other thing we've done here is kind of fill the area in between there with some soil, because we don't have any soil here. I'm kind of just standing on rocks right now, and so to get a little bit more soil where those tree rows are, we kind of filled that area. And then I've lined the rows with Mexican sunflower, one of my favorite chop and drops, just because it's so fast and easy to do, to manage. Just literally row like this right behind me. It's about 30 feet long, took maybe 10 minutes. It's literally just chop and drop right in place. You don't have to carry the material very far. I have been putting it on the side of the mound, so the tree rows are kind of mounded. Instead of putting it on the mound, which would deflect the water off, I put it to the side, so it's kind of a low spot, and I find that's the best area to get this material to stay wet and break down and keep the soil moist. The other thing I do with the trees is I put county mulch around them. So that's kind of the mulch that's going to be around the tree to take care of, you know, holding moisture there and covering the fertilizer and just covering around the trees to keep them wet around the tree. So this technique's been working really good, using the county mulch in combination with stuff we chop and drop here. As you guys probably know, the county mulch is very limited, so having another source of mulch is actually very critical. And I like to think of the mulch from the property as the long-term. It's not being placed right next to the tree right now, but eventually the tree roots are going to tap into that. So building that, you know, before they get there is really good. Other things I wanted to show you guys around here is just kind of some of the trees that have been doing really well and getting fruit for us. So let's go take a little walk around. I'll show you. When we were redesigning this area, we also took out a few trees that weren't doing so good, or we just didn't want them. So this tree here we replaced at that time. It's a Myers lemon. It's about 2 years old, already getting some nice fruits on it. This is the next row up here. We have two trees that had been replanted at that time also. Another Myers lemon, a couple Gliricidias here, and then a soursop. I don't know why we never planted a soursop in our original plantings, but now we have one. And this is the older tree that's at the end of that row. It's a variegated caracara. It's about 7 years old. This here is our first ever champadak flower. This tree is probably 6, 7 years old also. And I guess they take a lot longer than jackfruit to fruit and stuff. So it's been a while. Not even sure if this tree is going to be any good. It was from seed. It's not a graft or anything. So we'll have to find out. But it's really big, this tree. Just wanted to add this clip showing my first experiment with the Mexican sunflower as a hedge. As you can see, they're spaced really far apart, which later on I realized wasn't so great. So what I did is I ended up planting them much closer. As you can see in this clip, they're 2 feet apart rather than 4 feet. So having a whole extra sunflower in there definitely works fine. The sunflower doesn't mind at all. You're just actually doubling the amount of mulch you can get. The next row up, we had also replanted a few things. These are Valencia oranges. There's 2 of them in this row. And then at the end, we also have a Chico Sapote, which we've been getting lots of fruit on every spring. This tree here has only been in the ground about 6 years. It's a grafted variety, and the fruit are really good. Just very heavy bearing tree too. It's like way more than we can eat, but we still try because they're really delicious. These 2 mountain apple trees are definitely the all-stars, especially in the front here. They just look amazing. They're about 20 feet wide and just like 15 feet tall. I do prune them, and I have thinned them out a bit this year so that to encourage the flowering a little bit more. And I do think it worked. As you can see here, we got tons of flowers here. I wish it was a little bit later when I film this because the buds have not opened yet. They're really beautiful flowers when they do open. But in previous years, I didn't get as much flowering because I think the canopy was too dense. So I did open it up a bit to let some more light in there. And it looks like it worked. We did get a lot more flowers this year. Hopefully they pollinate and we get a lot more fruit also. This is definitely one of my favorite fruits. You don't find them in the grocery store at all. And even at the farmer's market, you'll never really find like really ripe ones. It's very rare to you might find some really ripe, but they do bruise very easily. So they go from being perfect to imperfect really fast. The bugs get them and they bruise easily when they are ripe. So it's really nice to have something like this in your yard so you can pick them at the optimal time and just enjoy them right in the yard. Pick them off the tree. Not all, but some of our Rollinia have almost fully defoliated, and this kind of happens almost every winter. We have somewhat of a serious drought followed by lots of rain. As you can see, the leaves are starting to grow back here. They will be fine, and it's just something that happens with the Rollinia in this area anyway. Still waiting on this one. It's a Jaboticaba, about 7, 8 years old. I know they take a long time, so we'll have to be patient, but I absolutely love this fruit. This here is one of our experiments that actually really worked well, and it's a wild guava, Vivi, and I'm growing Jamaican lilikoi up it. You can see the vine. You pretty much, from looking far back, you can't tell that there's a vine growing on. It just looks like leaves of the tree. It's all like kind of one tree it looks like, but it's actually 2 plants, and these Jamaican lilikoi just fall on the ground. When the season's really going, we get tons of them just every day falling on the ground. Come by, scoop up, about 10 or so. This right here is the result of an annoying pest called the lacewing bug. It seems to only affect avocados, and what it does is just make the leaves turn brown like this and fall off. And if you're not careful, they can kill your tree. I found that the best thing to do is make sure that they're putting on new growth twice a year. to ensure that you get a new flush of leaves and the old ones will just fall off. They'll kind of just like mulch the tree for you, self-mulching, if they just drop leaves and grow new ones. So that may be a benefit, but it's really not good to have your tree lose all its leaves. So I wouldn't recommend getting the lacewing bug if you don't have it. You're lucky. Consider yourself lucky. But even though we do get this bug destroying the trees, they do produce a good amount of fruit. This variety right here is a San Miguel, and even though it's pretty small, we still get about 50 to 100 fruit every fall. We're adding a bunch of banana stalks and stuff from a nearby. There's actually 3 nearby patches that just don't produce fruit anymore. They're, I don't know, just kind of sickly. But they do resprout, so we are just getting more mulch from them once in a while. And I found using bananas around a fruiting tree like this really helps with fruit production. The trunks have a lot of potassium to help with the overall health of the tree. So this is one of the things we do to help fight that pesky lacewing bug. This one here is a Brazil cherry, and another one that you really can't find at the grocery store or even at farmers markets. They're just so delicate, and they ripen, and then you have to eat them. You can't really store them. So just great to have in the yard to just, while you're walking by, pick a few, eat them. You know, a ton of them fall on the ground. Birds get them. But, you know, it's great to share with the other animals, too. Suriname cherry here, kind of same thing, just great to have in the yard to pick on like a snack. You don't really take them anywhere to sell or anything, you just enjoy them while you're walking around. And we have some jackfruit here. These aren't the best tasting, fully ripe, so I'd like to maybe try to sell them green. If anybody knows someone that buys green jackfruit, let me know. So that's it. I just wanted to hop on here and tell you guys I'm still here. I still want to make videos and show you something different. You know, we're always focusing on the back now, and the truth is I have a whole 2 acres here, not just that tiny little piece in the back. So I just want to show you something a little bit different, how we've taken this kind of orchard style setup and turned it into more agroforestry and used rows. We're using mulch. So if any of you guys need help getting your place a little more efficiently managed, let me know. Our email is aloha.offgridhawaii@gmail.com, and you can send us a message. But anyway, hope to make more videos soon. Thank you guys for watching, and see you in the next one.